Welcome back to Königssee in Bavaria. We're in the winter wonderland of the German sliding heartland. And after the two-man competition saw Germany go 1-3 with Canada taking silver, we are ready for our team competition. We have a dozen teams combining 4 disciplines each, all set to go down this oldest artificial ice track on the planet. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me as ever in the booth here, John Morgan. Wherever you are, whatever time of day it is, whatever ungoodnessly time you got up this morning like Ken Childs, then thank you for joining us. So the rules are very simple. The team comprises a men's skeleton and women's skeleton athlete, a women's bobsled and a two-man bobsled.
Well, then you got second. They go according to a draw in each discipline, and then the team with the lowest cumulative time in the 4 runs wins. So it's a knockout competition. It's got a little bit of a tennis tournament element to it, and it's pretty cool.
And as ever, just look at this location. We get paid to come here. Is this the best job there is?
Yeah, but I have a real complaint. The ice isn't frozen on the lake, so we can't walk on the lake like we did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's still too frozen for me to get a boat ride. Yeah. So yeah, okay, that's, third world problems. There's Axel Jung. He'll be going in one of the German teams. Christina Hengster of Austria will also be sliding for Austria. Our our world champion in the women's bobsleigh, Alana Myers-Taylor. Our Olympic champion, Alexander Tretiakov.
He won this event a couple weeks ago, the skeleton event.
And this is a combination of the great and the good. It's the first time we've seen skeleton in action. There you can see Kaylee Humphries and Janine Flock. And there's Mariama Yamanka, who took 4th in the women's race yesterday.
Chris Grothier, he'll slide skeleton.
He took his first ever win of the season this year. Marila Raniva. Oh boy. Wow, the Canadians on a roll now. They got 2nd and 6th in the women's race, 2nd and 5th today in the two-man race. There's Alicia Rissling.
Who got 6th, yeah.
Yeah, she and Nick Polinato. What a weekend they've had already.
But Alicia Rissling had a 4th before in her life. Nick Polinato has never had a top 10, and he comes out 5th in the World Championships. Here's our team.
Yeah, Team Russia. So Alex Tretiakov, now that's a good way to kick things off. Maria Oliver for the women. Kevin Boyer with Christine de Bruyn. Savannah Grable from the USA and Ivo de Bruyn. So that's a kind of Can-Am Dutch team. The Austrians, Matthias Kuckenberg, Janine Flock, Christina Hengster and Benny Meyer, who just had a really good result in the two-man. Nathan Crumpton, Jamie Grubel-Poser, Kendall Westenberg and Justin Olsen. That's got to be a really strong lineup for USA too. Matt Antoine, Alana Myers, Annie O'Shea and Stephen Holcomb. Going to take some beating for Team USA 1 as well. Spot the weak link in that lineup. It's not going to be easy.
Redemption here. These guys are looking for some redemption. They had a bad weekend so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And the international team from Germany, Alexander Gassner, Anna Fernstedt and Richard Olsner, the junior world champion, joined by Maria Constant and Andrea Greco of Romania. And this is an all-but-all Romanian team with the addition of Brittany Reinbold and Brianna Jones. I think that's the first time they've slid together. For Canada, Riss joins Polo and Jane Channel and Dave Cheshin. The second German team, they'll be looking for something here as well. Christopher Groen here.
There.
Yeah, Tina Hermann, the reigning women's skeleton world champion.
Look at this matchup.
And yeah, that's it's tough to see your way around beating a lot of these teams, and as ever, it'll be the weakest link.
The Canucks.
Yeah,
they aren't weak.
That's got to be a medal challenging team right there.
A couple silver medals right there in the two-man and the women's.
Don't forget, we haven't even started our skeleton competition either, so there is an awful lot going on here. Just met the first skeleton athlete from China who'll be competing next week with his coach, Willi Schneider. He's a tall guy as well. Not Willi Schneider, he's definitely not a tall guy. A dozen teams of 4 disciplines each. So the first is from a random draw, the start list. Just came out the hat in the captain's meeting on Friday afternoon. We kick off with Russia. Is there a better way to start a team competition than with an Olympic champion? No, there isn't, is your simple answer. Martin Haven and John Morgan trackside. Alexander Tretiakov gets the Team World Championship underway for Russia 1.
On the start record, we can't see what that is, but he's the owner of it. Again, he won this event 3 weeks ago, mostly because Martin Stukar's Superman was testing equipment. It was his 5th sled in 6 races that he was testing. So Tretiakov is the rabbit, and boy, he could launch the Russians into quite a position. And, you know, again, the skeleton competition hasn't started, Martin, so a lot of skeleton athletes are using this as a warm-up.
Yeah, they've done one trip in practice on Friday, and that means they don't get one of the regular half-dozen trips next week. Yeah, okay, so...
Oh, no, you're right. They don't get a trip next week.
Yeah, so they miss out on a trip next week because they've had a little bit of earlier ice time. 50.10. Now, this is where you need a pen, a paper, a slide rule, a calculator, an assistant, Carol Vorderman, and 3 other mathematical devices, or a timing screen. And thank goodness we have a timing screen. Russia have the lead.
Well, now we're going to go with 11 more skeleton. 11 more men's skeletons.
They may still lead at the end of this first
with
group
him
of
going
athletes.
down, I mean, we're going to be at 3 or 4 sleds before we see anybody challenge Tretiakov, if anyone does, up and down in that chrysal, that tricky 360-degree. I mean, some athletes call it a nemesis.
The others can't pronounce nemesis. This is Kevin Boyer from Edmonton, Alberta. No, he's not now. He is now, but one of the international team. He's from the west of Canada, and one of the most individual helmet designs I've ever seen on a Skeletor. Great-looking design.
All the skeleton guys and girls from Canada have beautiful designs. That's a Whistler look, though, right? Isn't it that?
Yeah, that's Western native art.
Yeah.
With his biggest sponsors and long-time supporters on the helmet.
So he's way back of Tretiakov.
Well, that is only to be anticipated, a 471 getaway. And now, of course, everybody who's in this first group knows that the Olympic champion, Alexander Tretiakov, is there, and there are no Ducourse brothers in the field. So Tretiakov is the standout athlete that they all have to try and limit their damage against.
Yeah, and it's just terrible that Tretiakov is the first guy down.
Within half a mile an hour into the Chrysler, Tretiakov's speed. Oh, but a really wild run down through the lower labyrinth.
It won't be the last person we see. I mean, this is, Kevin's first year on tour. And, he's doing pretty good.
So Alexander Tretiakov will stay in the leader's box for Russia. There's Eva Parkins, the Canadian skeleton coach, Canadian, Latvian, Canadian. And a 1.1 second advantage at the moment for the Russian team over the international team.
The race get won or lost up here in the skeleton. That's the biggest disparity of time.
Elizabeth Vachi there helping with the sled. She'll be sliding for Canada next week.
Well, he came off a little bit too early, and then in the doodles, Steve Holcomb doesn't want us to call it the doodles in bobsled. The Canadians gave it the doodles name.
Yeah, he thinks it sounds too soft. There's Rita Vache, Elizabeth Vache's mom. Zach Lund in the background. Ratberger means we have an Austrian Skeletor at the line, and this is Matthias Guggenberger for Austria Team 1. And this is definitely the big lineup for Austria.
He's facing surgery right after we get back from Pyeongchang, Korea. 14th 3 weeks ago on this track with the guy's running with torn meniscus in his knee. And doctor says you can't hurt it anymore. Doesn't want injections. And he's done well on this track. 2600s back. That's because he got crushed at the start by 1500s by the Russian rocket, Alexander Tretiakov.
This is kind of like lining up in a 100-meter final with Usain Bolt, isn't it? You're looking at all the others going, okay, who am I going to beat out of everyone else? Because we know we're not going to beat Bolt. And so he's now looking at where are we going to be against Kevin Boyer, against Nathan Crompton, Matt Antoine, and all the other guys.
Yeah, the thing is, you can't win this competition here in the first discipline, but you could certainly lose it. This is like the first heat or the first round of the golf tournament. You can't win it, but if your teammate doesn't do well, so Tretiakov, he's going to be there for the whole round.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anybody who's going to move him out of that position.
So Matthias Guggenberger comes in front of Kevin Boyer by 18 and 5, 2300ths of a second.
Maybe one of the German athletes, Christoph Grothier or Axel Jung, or even
Nikita Tregebov would be my money.
the
decade younger Russian rocket.
What do we do? We do have a different name for him. Junior Russian rocket?
Yeah, that pesky kid, which is what Tretiakov called him the other year, isn't it? Nathan Crumpton from the USA, not only a good mathematician, a decent track announcer as well, but a great skeleton potential for the future.
Great track and field athlete from Princeton University.
Yeah, a triple jumper. He said the masochist's choice of track and field discipline. The great looking sled he's got as well, all colors neatly combined.
Does a little part-time modeling, does some, he's a photographer.
Great photographer, really has an eye for a picture. That's one of his own on the front of his helmet. Little steer out of the start spur into corner one.
Boy, I'm surprised he's the fourth in the start. He's usually better than Guggenberger. He's usually better than Boyer.
Start corner, we call it turn one. It's only turn one on the bobsled course. It's actually turn 5 because the luge course starts higher up and further back behind the start. Bouncy down the bend away, controls the pressure nicely. He's got a lot of height, a lot of mass.
He's a little not straight in that labyrinth, but he is straight.
Keeping the knees and the feet apart to stop it fishtailing too wildly. Just uses the knives on the back of the runners, little ridges on the back of the runners. They call the knives to control that sideways movement. 51.37, so he's not far behind, only 500s behind Boyer. So in fact, there's 0.2 of a second, second, third and fourth, which is a pretty reasonable spread. The only difference is that Tretyakov was getting on for a second quicker so far.
Second quicker in one run. That means he'd be 4 seconds quicker at the World Championships over these guys.
Yeah.
That tells you the disparity in times between bobsled and skeleton. Now, we just saw Francisco Friedrich win by over a second in 4 heats in bobsled. That's 2,500s a heat. That's a lot of time.
And that was huge, wasn't it?
Well, here comes another American. He's going to be entrusted. He's got to best Guggenberger, Boyer, and his teammate Crumpton. And he's got a very formidable team here. He's got, the world champion Myers Taylor coming up. He's got Eddie with Lolo Jones, then Andy O'Shea, and then Holcomb. So this is probably the USA's best hope. It's a very formidable team.
Definitely is. Let's see what Martin-Antoine can produce. 4:57 start, 4:77.
10th on this track 3 weeks ago.
Through these S-curves, that's Eric Benotas there doing the filming, former US slider and coaching the British team. You can see as he comes out, skeleton athletes pinball a little less than the bobsleds down the track, so they can adjust their line more subtly.
Pretty good speed by Martin-Antoine.
They have a lot of waves in the Chrysler, just avoids that short wall on the way down, and that's a really good run. That's what you look like through the labyrinth when you're going smoothly.
And he's down by 1,800s. At the 2000s at the start, he should be down by 60 at the bottom.
He's only under 4/10 behind. It's a really good run. Martin-Antoine limits the damage.
Yeah, he's down by 2000s at the start and only 45 at the bottom. That's a positive for Team USA.
And you see, for them, next up they've got Alana Myers-Taylor, who won the World Championship in the women's bobsled, whereas the leading team of Russia, they got Nadezhda Sergeyeva, who crashed out in the first heat.
Yeah, she hasn't been down since the crash.
And so that half second could easily be turned around the other way.
Here's the Disney ride, as I say, these 4 S's. It's like being on an amusement park ride.
Yeah.
Look at the lineup. That's the different lines coming through here. There's Tretyakov. Oh, they're pretty close to each other.
Yeah. Antoine, the slightly lower line all the way through. Did that take a little more steering than Tretyakov's slightly higher line?
Oh.
Well, here is Nikita Tregibov. We could have Russia 1-2 after this first group of athletes. Can I say tranche? I'll save tranche for later. Group of athletes. Nikita Tregibov, a decade younger than Tretyakov, and just as fearsome at the start. Look at that, only 400s slower.
Wow, and he wasn't at this event 3 weeks ago in Königssee because he was up in Wittenberg at the Junior World Championships where he won his 3rd straight Junior World Championships.
Gee, you do surprise, yeah, absolutely. And look at this, still only 600s back. Takes a little early hit and a toe steer or two, but that's not a bad bend away. 1:12.3.
That's a big speed.
Fastest we've seen, quicker than Tretyakov. The gap will come down. 600s to 400s. The pesky kid is going to overhaul the Russian rocket at this rate. 72.8, just a fraction slower than Alexander Tretyakov, so the gap goes back out. It might be almost as much as 2/10 of the line.
Yeah, he lost it all on the exit of Kreisel.
And that's the experience that Tretyakov has. Another decade threading his way down through the labyrinth and around that final uphill section.
You could tell our Russian, right in front of us, look at those Russian flags, we're right behind it.
Yeah.
And you see that in the
fact,
match TV,
waving
the
from
Russian
a window,
TV.
yes, it's the Russian commentary
They got
team.
something to be happy about. They've had a disastrous 3 days here in Königssee. This is where he lost all his time. Just had a bad hit on the exit of Kreisel, put him into the wrong angles, into the labyrinth, but he's second.
Yep. Peter Tregibov trails Alexander Tretyakov, Matt Antoine third for the USA. So next up, we have our second Austrian, beg your pardon, our second German athlete, but this is an international team. So Alexander Gassner, who made his return to the World Cup stage after 3 seasons in the lower categories as a result of injury and a subsequent lack of form. Came in for a headshot at the beginning of the season, said, hey, do you remember me?
Nice to see
yes. Absolutely we do. 4.70, that's the 3rd fastest start. And that was what he was missing. That's why he missed out on German trials, why he was down in the Intercontinental Cup and Europa Cup. And now he's got his fitness back, he's got his mojo working.
And this is the first of a very formidable German coming down. He was 3rd in this event 3 weeks ago. Number 12.7, well, that's up there with the Russian time.
70 miles an hour. He is the fastest man in the Kreisel.
Wow.
700s behind Tretyakov.
This could be the leader if he goes out.
1:19.73.9. That's a full mile an hour
He's
faster.
the leader. Wow, what is a good sign for Germany here that he can overtake Tretyakov. Wow, Jack Walker!
Wow, oh my goodness me.
And this is for the international team.
This is just the start. This is a team competition.
And there's 2 more Germans on this team.
And look at him. How delighted was he? Alexander Gassner. Right, let's get you hold the fort. I'll get down the bookies, get some money on him for the World Championships.
Yeah.
Wow. Alex.
Wow.
Say what?
3rd in this event 3 weeks ago. Well, I think he just made a statement that he's ready for the World Championships. Let it begin tomorrow.
Wow, now then. Dorin Velicu for Romania. Haven't seen him on the World Cup Tour this season, but he is back for the World Championships. He's been racing in Europe, so he's been doing a combination of 2nd-tier races, the Intercontinental Cup, and 3rd-tier races, the Europa Cup. When you've got a restricted budget, as the Romanian team do, you don't spend it on travel, you spend it on sliding. Well, kind of a little bit flummoxed by the form of Alexander Gassner there to break the track record and push Alexander Tretyakov out the lead by a 1/10 of a second. But let's concentrate on Dorin Velicu. First time we've seen him in action, I think since Innsbruck last year. He was in the Worlds there, he was in the Worlds in Winterberg as well.
He's teamed up with the American Britneys, Ryan Bolt and Brianna Jones, and then another Romanian, Maria Mazzulli, and then another Romanian, Dorin Alexander Grigori.
Dorin Grigori will be driving the 2-man sled. And Grigori, in fact, didn't go in the 2-man World Championship. Their 18-year-old rookie, Mihai Tentea, went instead. He did a very solid job. A trophy almost literally as tall as he is. It's about 9 inches shorter than Mihai himself. Mihai, he's not exactly tiny either. 51, 61.
That's what can happen here to a team is to have get crushed in the skeleton. You don't have that disparity in bobsled.
Yeah. Again, there is an international element to this team. Romanians could have an all-Romanian team because Alexander Gassner's got a Romanian women's crew in the bobsled.
Yeah, I don't understand that combination.
I think they wanted to give themselves more chance of going up the order. There's Dorin, big smile on his face as ever. Lizzie Vacci, not doing bad with that sled dog. And there might be a future in that for her if this skeleton thing doesn't work out. Dave Procession of Canada. This is a 2nd Canadian team. Couple of changes in their lineup, which is why there were some gaps in our headshots that were made. Changes in the lineup in the last 20 minutes. The grizzly bear on the Canadian rugby player's helmet, denoting his nickname, Grizz.
The Grizz.
It's a lot easier to say than Gres Cheshin, a lot easier to spell as well.
One of the largest athletes in the skeleton field.
And also, without exception, the single largest Scrabble score as well, with all those S's and Z's. What a bad-looking run. And again, like Matt Antoine, like Nathan Crumpton, really tall guy. He's comfortably over 6 foot, carries a lot of mass on the frame, and that really helps with acceleration. Wolfgang Hopper, you saw there in the yellow hands, the German bobsled legend, watching from the side of the track.
He'll be competing next week in
The Legends race.
Legends race.
He cannot wait for that.
He's asking me if he can put live cameras on the sled. He's got them, he says.
Alexander Gassner leaves, hanging out in the leader's box. We might need to get used to seeing that.
Grizz.
Yeah.
Grizz, that's not too bad. 6/10 back. That keeps the that team hanging in there.
So 5th out of the 9 sleds so
Lisa
far.
Riesling, and then Jane Chanel, and then Chris Spring, Cameron Stones. Well, it gets a little bit of skid there. It goes into the Jenna curve, and then here in the uphill section of the track, look at this, the sled got away from him there. You know, when you're going uphill and you're skidding, look how late he got off that curve. And the TV doesn't do it justice. That's a pretty steep uphill.
Got to mention as well that these skeleton guys have only had 2 trips down. Normally in a race, even in a World Cup, you'd have 6 trips in practice, so they're still not fully dialed in. Well, the Germans probably are. This is Christopher Grodehair, big season for him as well. His first ever World Cup gold medal came earlier in this month.
5th in this event 3 weeks ago. And again, like you mentioned, Martin, he won his first ever medal, and it was a gold medal in Altenburg right after the Christmas break. And he's got a 200th lead, which is pretty impressive, considering he had a deficient start time, not a deficient start time, but a lesser start time, really a better start time than his teammate. Now it's 100th. Speed, well, he's going to need 112.7.
He started
flat, doesn't have the speed.
Started 1100s slower than Alexander Tretyakov, and he's still ahead of Tretyakov, and he's still ahead of Tretyakov, but he is losing momentum. Alexander Gassner will hold the lead. Tretyakov and Tregibov 2nd and 3rd for the Russian teams.
Stephanie Schneider coming up next, followed by the former world champion Tina Hermann, then Nico Walter. Pretty formidable German team here, but they're 4th.
Kidding. Yeah, 4th place, 3800s back. But only 1300s out of 3rd place at the moment. Again, that is more than makeable.
How impressive is Alexander
Alex Gassner, yeah, no question. Christopher Grodehair lies 4th. And the problem for the 2 Russian teams is their women's bobsleds that come up next are not going to be strong.
Different lines. Look at how consistent.
Gassner just goes around like there is no other line. Grodehair's up and down.
How much more space did he cover?
Yeah. Axel Junk next up. So this is the Germany 1 team. These are their favourites. They may be your favourites at home too as well. I couldn't possibly comment. But
this is quite a team. He's got Jamaica, Jacqueline Lowling, and Johannes Lochner. So I got to believe if he comes in here within 1000s, I'm going to put my money on these guys.
Lochner just took bronze in the 2-man competition. Jacqueline Lurling, the defending women's skeleton champion.
Wow, great start.
Yeah, that is a good start.
Speed too.
466, Alex Gassner, the leader, started 470. He's got a slender advantage, but Gassner did it all from the Kreisel on down, and we know now why, don't we? Having seen his line through the Kreisel.
He was 4th in the event 3 weeks ago, and I'm sure he's been on the track as much as anybody.
Oh, huge second wave, way up, almost in the woodwork.
Watch out.
And that is going to be about a quarter-second deficiency at the line.
You're right, Mark. I would say 2500s back. 116.6, though, it's way off.
Listen to the helmet, Chimpy's chicken on the ice.
3500s back. Look, he's slow coming into that finish.
Yeah. Boy.
33, remember, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, that second pressure. Wow, what happened there? That's the replay we want to see in the Kreisel, because he just shot up to the woodwork.
And you know the Germans have been on this track the last week. Axel, he was the first one to tell you. Well, okay, high.
There's the first pressure.
Let's
It's
go back
moderately
down.
high,
And
but
then,
that one,
that adjustment up near the roof.
you can see the broad white stripe below. He's way clear of that. And
Yeah,
then
look at this. He's almost off the sled. Airborne, the upper runner.
that's in a world of hurt down there.
And then it's close your eyes and hope you get through there. Look at these unbelievable pictures.
That may not be the approved coaching way, close your eyes and pray, but it's as good as any other. Well, here's the other Canadian bear, Barrett Martineau. So this is the Canada 1 team with double Olympic, double world champion Kaylee Humphries up next in the women's bobsled, Marilla Reneva, and bronze medalists from this morning, Justin Cripps. Jesse London's getting the afternoon off and a massage. Ben Copeland will be in with him. 400s away from the start. What a good getaway from Barrett Martineau.
Yeah, he's been, he's doing his thing this year.
Right,
emerging as a top Canadian. He was 12th at the event a couple of weeks ago. But, with Cripps being the anchor, I think Cripps will drive anything down this track. He loves it so much.
Huge second pressure and drills the short wall, and that means he will have.
It's been pretty conservative. The first 6 sleds down has been conservative. Now we're seeing what this track can do to you in the exit of Christ.
Couldn't control that second pressure in the Christ, and you could see his right foot was dragging desperately, trying to keep the line.
So much for the Canadians now. That is just too much to overcome. And Barrett Martineau will have to go back and figure out how to not do that in the 4 heats of the World Championships coming up next weekend.
I've just taken my money back across the bookmaker's counter. I'm sorry, Barrett. Wow, let's hope he doesn't make that mistake next weekend. Look at this.
High, he's near the roof. Beautiful pictures. Now this crushing shot. Ooh. And now on the wrong, he's foot off the wall. Now it's...
Well, now he's trying to get his eyeballs to stop rattling and the fillings back in his teeth, because, boy, that was a big run down into the wall. Alexander Gassner helps International Team 3 into the lead ahead of the Russians and the Germans. Oh boy, and it's not much of a lead, but the Russian women's bobsledders have struggled this weekend, as have the men.
I bet you things are going to shake up here in the next round, which makes this pretty interesting.
Okay,
Team
so I need to write the order down, because there are going to be a lot of changes. International 3, Russia, talk amongst yourselves, Russia 1.
Yeah, they're going to go reverse order. 2. So we barely have time to get the results out. We'll have to be looking at our computers to get them, but we're ready.
Germany 1, and then Germany 2. And then in 6th place, it's changed. 6th place is Matt Antoine, who is USA 1. And then 7th place was Dave Kreshcheshin, and he is in Canada 2. I'm writing this down. You can do the same at home. Pens poised. We'll be checking your scores later. Lizzie Arnold on the left, Laura Dees on the right. No Team GB, could have been, but for some reason nobody decided to enter one, which is a little bit of a shame. Would have been nice to see the girls competing.
And the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, their skeleton competition starts on Monday with training. We'll be up a mountain having fun, so don't look for us at the track. We'll catch up with them later in the afternoon. Well, first off the top of the hill will be Dorin Velikou, will be International Team 1, which was represented by Dorin Velikou. So it'll be Brittany Reinbold of the USA with Brianna Jones behind her. So we go from men's skeleton into women's bobsleigh.
Highlights, well
our leader from the first heat. Well, I didn't have him down as a favourite, and that'll teach me. Alexander Gassner, what a good run. Alex, I apologise for not looking at your name and going, yep, he's going to be our first heat leader. I pretty much looked at Tretikov and went, right, let's see if we can guess where the rest are going to finish.
We're both wrong there, so this is a great setup for the World Championships to understand this guy could be a contender. Look at him, he knows it too.
Absolutely right.
That's a good way to set the pace.
Well, so next up, here's a mouth-watering lineup. Brittany Reinbold, Kaylee Humphries, Jamie Grubel-Poser. They're the first 3 sleds off the block. in the women's bobsled, so that is going to give their teams a big boost up the order. Then Christine de Bruyne of the Netherlands for international team 2, Christina Hengster, then Rissling, Myers-Taylor, Schneider, Yamanka, and then we get into the sticky territory where the Russians need to try and hang on with Rodionova in Russia 2, Sergeva in Russia 1, and then Maria Constantin of Romania will go last in this group because she is in international team 3, who are currently leading. So there you go, international team 1 goes off first, and followed by Canada 1, USA 2, international 2, Canada 1, and there you saw the second half of the draw. USA 1, Germany, Germany, Russia, Russia, and international team 3, who are our dark horses. Let's examine them in a tiny bit more detail. International team 3, Alex Gassner, Maria Constantin will lose a bit in the bobsled. Anna Fernstedt in a women's skeleton is going to be as strong as almost anybody.
She was looking forward to it, told me.
And then the two-man competition, Richard Olsner, the junior world champion, that might be a weak link as well. So for international team 1, currently at the bottom of the pile, let's see what Sky pilot Brittany Reinbold can produce with Brianna Jones behind her, a 5:33 getaway.
Okay, so we got women's bob now, 12 straight women's bobs, which will move at a pretty fast pace. And Brittany, a pretty good world championships, one bad heat. And this reminds me of her first run down the track when she tried to use all of the ice on the track. 110.7, keep track of the speed.
This World Championships is only her second race on the track. So she came here in January, again in February for the Worlds.
116.6 is pretty good speed. That's similar to what Axel Young had in the skeleton just now.
68.8 miles an hour.
Just think the skeleton sleds come down almost as fast as the two-man bobsleds.
Yep.
The women's bobsleds.
51.61 for Dorin Velikou, 51.42 for the bobsled of Brittany Reinbold and Brianna Jones.
Just think of that. I mean, there's only 1,900 separating the skeleton men and the women's bob. It's, you know, there's a lot of weight to those women's bob, but just think how fast those skeleton guys are going with their chin inches off the ice. And Brittany would have been a lot faster if she didn't have the sled sideways both directions.
Well, she knew that her challenges were the exit of S4, which is at the top of the bend away, and the exit of the Kreisel, and the exit of S4 got her. There's Dorin Velikou, Romania.
This is what's fun about the team competition. The bob and skeleton athletes get to hang out with each other.
All right, so you're near the bottom of the lineup. What do you need? Who are you going to call? You're going to call a double Olympic champion. Kaylee Humphries with... was going to be Melissa Lothold. This is where figuring out which team it is. It is Melissa Lothold. So your World Championship silver medal pairing from yesterday go to try and drag Canada 1 off the lower regions of the leaderboard.
Barrett Martineau had a terrible exit of Kreisel that put them in this 11th position. But I bet you this team here lives in the leader's box for a little bit, because all Kaylee Humphries did when she finished second, and second in all 4 heats. That's as consistent as anybody come down the track in either of the men's or women's bobsled competitions. 112.4, wow.
Yep, good speed, 69.8 miles an hour, 1 mile an hour faster than Brittany Reinbold, but then she was kind of straight down the bend away.
118, that's 2 kilometers better.
Yep, 73.8 miles an hour.
Look at this turnaround.
Yeah, so this is going to vault them a long way up the order. A 50.78 slide. He's so hard to read, isn't he, Plug? You never know what he's thinking.
Well, it's a problem. He's a hockey player from Canada.
Yeah. One of the Canadian fans down the bottom.
Just, you know, it's a fun event. There's not as much pressure here. This might be the only mistake we've seen her make. And if it's not much of a mistake, she hit 3 times.
Quite a big hit, the third one.
But she was so consistent. That's why she's a 2-time world champion, 2-time Olympic champion.
That was a bit of a throwaway there. Well, next up is Jamie Grubel-Poser. And yesterday she added her first ever World Championship medal, a bronze, to her Olympic bronze medal. Now, she's got Sherelle Garrett behind her. Sherelle back in harness. This is her first race, isn't it? Back from illness, I think. So,
First time we've seen her,
from injury,
they haven't used her yet.
She's been on tour for the last couple of weeks. There's a shot of those Adidas spikes that everybody uses. Tiny little needle spikes to help them run on this ice. We're going to have to get Sherelle in for a headshot, are we? Or did she do that
she was in. She came in. 5:32. Decent start. Sherelle, a former world champion. Wasn't she with the... No, was she with Alana?
Yeah.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly so.
She's been struggling.
She was on the bench at the beginning of the season. 100th behind Kaylee Humphries. This could be a very close battle.
Combination of the skeleton men who just came down, 112.4, same speed as Kaylee. Now the next number, 118.8 is the speed that Kaylee Humphries had. Jamie's going to have to match that 120, much better speed. Jamie Grubel-Poser with the perfect line, but she's still lost a couple more hundredths.
600ths of a second in it, and across the line, back down to 400s.
That speed on the bottom, you could see it. Oh, Cheryl Garrett comes back to the competition.
So Jamie Grubel-Poser, the bronze medalist yesterday in the women's competition, moves her team into second. 400s behind Canada 1 is USA 2. International team 1, who are at the bottom of the order, remain there at the moment. And there you can see the Canadian sled line, Kaylee Humphries, and Jamie Grubel-Poser in the Campgrounds of America BMW sled, just a little wavy through the Kreisel. That will be her last slide of these World Championships. She's going to enjoy a little bit of time off with husband Christian Poser. And ditto for Christine de Bruyn, whose husband Ivo is competing here in this race as well, having just finished the men's competition. So this is International Team 2. They were second off in the first heat with Kevin Boyer. And Christine not joined by Geneviève Thibault in this French sled they've rented from Roman Heinrich, but by Alexia Beckford-Stewart. And this is why they sometimes think, no, we're not going to put our athletes' names down the side of the sled, because you need a 4-man sled to get Alexia's name written down the side, not a 2-man.
112 watts, pretty good speed. It's only 3/10 down from Jamie Grubel-Poser and Kaylee Humphries. 1,500 back, not too bad.
Yeah, pretty respectable for Christine de Bruyn, the third of our Canadian sleds. There's her teammate Kevin Boyer in the top. There's your leaders at the bottom. Barrett Martineau on the left can smile, despite the fact that his shoulder is probably the colour of his jacket.
Yeah, Kaylee Humphries, she might, they might live in the leaders box here for a few more.
So, a 51.15 slide from Christine de Bruyn off a 5.44 getaway compared to the 32 of Jamie Grubel-Poser and the 5.27 of Kaylee Humphries and Melissa Lotholtz. That gave them a big 1700ths of a second advantage before they even sat down.
Well, look at the pictures. We've been looking at these pictures now for 3 days. They're just compelling. 500 frames a second. Wow, never seen pictures that good. Well, we got some Austrians up next, Mark. Christina Hengster.
This is the International Team 2. Moving my bits of paper around. Oh no, hang on a minute.
This is the Austrians. This is Mickey. This is Guggenberger, Hengster.
Right, I haven't written them down on my list of who's in what position, so they're behind
second best
Canada
start.
2. All right, so Austria 1.
They got a little bit of an advantage.
Matthias Guggenberger started off for them. Their start time of 5.31. That's a very respectable getaway. Christina Hengster and Jennifer Onosanya. Jennifer loving life in this World Championships. This is her first season on ice. Dutch-born athlete really enjoyed her 4 trips down the track in this World Championship competition that ended yesterday for the women.
Yeah, she did pretty good. She had a bad first run, and the second, third, fourth runs, she challenged 5th place. You know, she just doesn't have the start times, but she's a good driver, and a short track like this, she gives out 50.72. That's the best time of the discipline. Should she just beat Kaylee Humphries?
No,
I think she did.
Too many bits of paper around.
I think she did. She was the fastest
it's the fastest run. Yes, that's the fastest run.
So
yes.
you know, hey, she just delivered the goods. She just beat Kaylee Humphries.
There you go. Or is that the cumulative? No, that is on her run. No,
that was her run. She was the fastest heat. Good lines. Well, that's why she's ranked top 5 in the World Cup points. Guggenberger, come over and congratulate her.
Yeah, Kaylee came down 50.78. Christina Hengster goes 50.72. So next up then is Canada 2. This is who I was expecting because my writing isn't as good as it should be. Alicia Rissling. What a story for Riss. And her brakewoman in the Women's World Championships, Cynthia Appia, finishing in 6th place, unheralded for them and beyond dreams. And she's got to change the brakewoman as well. It's Sarah Dagnier-Everall who's behind her. Sarah, apologies for the name mangling there, being cheered off as ever by Derek Plug.
We've seen Sarah in the 4-man, right, with Kaylee?
I think that's right, and this is the first time she's been in a 2-man sled, as far as I'm aware. So 5:43 getaway.
Good lines. Riesling there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the Canadians have just had redemption so far this weekend for a season of utter purgatory, and she's in the lead still. Didn't see what their lead was to start with. It was 32 hundredths of a second when she sat down. It's going to be very close to the Austrians, Matthias Guggenberger, Christina Hengster, and Jennifer Onosanya, and 200ths behind. 200ths behind. And this is what the team competition does. It's snakes and ladders. You constantly get teams going up, coming down, going up, coming down. Yikes. So there you go.
Well, this is where it gets interesting. You know, the Austrians came down with the best, you know, Hengster delivered the best time of the women's bob, which is awesome. And that's why they're top of the leaderboard right here.
I've just discovered something apropos of not very much. Ben Coquel is coming up later on with Justin Cribs. I always thought Jessie Lumsden was christened Jessie. Everett James. There you go. Thank you, Bobsleigh Canada Skeleton, for that. Here, though, let's get back to what we should be paying attention to, which is the race. And here is our world champion, Lolo Jones, in behind Alana Myers-Taylor.
This should be a pretty quick start. Look at that, 5:14, 41.8 speed.
And, you know, for the brake women, brake men who don't get to go in the regular World Championships, this is still a chance for a World Championship gold medal win.
Yeah, something to put on your mantle.
Absolutely right.
Huge. I mean, 8300s.
Yeah.
So edited like 112.6, 112.4. So she doesn't have the great speed with that start. Of course, she was a little sideways. Watch out here. This is not her favorite part or of any track on the planet. She's had some issues there, but she was good enough to win her second World Championship, the second ever for the United States.
Teammate Matt Antoine at the top. Leaders are Austria 1 in the box. They're watching.
74.
Wow. Way.
Matt hung in there. Remember, Matt got beat up by 20 hundredths by Trenchikov at the start and hung in there only 3,500 hundredths down at the bottom.
Well, Matt Antoine came down in 50.55. Alana Myers-Taylor and Lolo Jones in 50.48. 7 hundredths of a second difference between a man's skeleton and a 2-man bobsled. Wow.
Well, this is not the best line by Alana. 2, 3, 4, 5 front back hits, but they're the leaders. They could be there for a couple sleds. Lolo Jones in the back, good start.
And actually, to complete that, 4:77 getaway from Matt Antoine, 5:14 for Alana Myers-Taylor and Lolo Jones. But they are pushing a bit more weight, you have to say. So next up, after USA 1, Germany 2. So this is Stephanie Schneider with Lisa Marie Buchwitz. They too competed in the Women's World Championships.
So now there's only 500 separation here at the bottom. So this means that Schneider is going to have to match the world champion who just came down. Or the USA 1 will keep the lead. And she's already 6 down. Those are good
Only
lines.
600s back.
112 change. 112 change. Give her a chance. There's 112 and some small change, and she could get
She's
within
right
10.
up there in speed. 1400s back.
If she only loses by 20 hundredths here, that's a positive for the German team.
Don't forget they were in 5th place after the first heat.
They've got Tina Herman coming up next, the women's skeleton, and she's going to smoke a run. That's fine. Only 2300s back. The Americans hang in there.
And I think that all these teams, or the last 2 or 3, are likely to move up once we get to Russia 2 and Russia 1. I think their women's bobsled, unless something has happened overnight, is going to be a weaker link in their chain than for many of the other teams.
Yeah, there's going to be a little shuffling of the cards here. Next couple sleds up, a couple Russians coming up. But first of all, you got some good lines here. And I think Schneider is going to be somebody that they're going to look forward.
Yep.
She's going to have a good future. She had a bad start to the season with those crashes and whistling.
Well, she's going to need some surgery, a lot of recovery over the summer before she comes back for next year's Olympic year. Mariama Yamanka. Franziska Bertels was the alternate in the World Championship. She was helping out with the sled down the bottom, and that job today will be taken over by her teammate. And Bertels gets a chance again to go for gold in the team competition in the Germany 1 lineup.
Well, 5:33.6 best start. She's got 200s in the bank right now. She's going to probably be red numbers next clock. But she has a chance to... Ooh, that was real high in that first S.
The deal with the team's competition is to keep yourself in contention in all disciplines. One loose run can torpedo you below the waterline.
Was a really nice feather. She feathered herself through that bend around. Speed's decent. 112.3 cylinder. Alana Myers-Taylor.
Nice run through the labyrinth, keeps the speed alive.
She just wants to get within 20 hundredths of Alana Myers-Taylor.
She's lost a little bit more ground. Axel Junk, her teammate at the top. The leaders are at the bottom. Lelo Jones on the right. Alana Myers-Taylor in the middle. 1700s. That's good. That is good.
She stayed within that 20 hundredths. You know, she's up against a world champion who was beating her by 25 hundredths, 20 hundredths a heat. And here she only lost her by like 20, 25 hundredths. So she maintained for the German team. And again, you can't win the competition in these first couple of heats.
But you sure can't lose it.
Yeah, like we saw with Barrett Martineau, put the Canadians in a real hex with the almost crash out of the Kreisel curve we're looking at right here. Look at the difference in lines. Myers-Taylor, the world champion. Yamanka, early, a new driver. She's looking at those lines. Bertels, she's been around a long time.
So for Russia, this is a telling time for Nadezhda Sergeva and for Alexandra Rodionova. Rodionova on the line now with Yulia Shokshweva. And in a field of 22 sleds, one Russian team only crashed out in the first heat, and the other one finished in the low teens. What were they, 17th, 18th in the Women's World Championships? It was a very, and she can't get herself in.
This could be very interesting. You know, what kind of cobwebs does she have? She was so disappointed. No, this is different. This is
this is Rodionova, but even so, you know, to finish 17th or 18th.
She was 6th in this race 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Former luge athlete who's been down the track probably than anybody in this competition. Also, 10 years in the Russian luge program. Speed half kilometer down to the best, if not more.
1400s away, 2300s. This could cost them half a second.
Yeah, they just want to hang around, stay within 25 or 30 hundredths, have a chance for this third, fourth.
Well, USA won the leaders, were 6th off the first heat, and the Russians lose 34 hundredths of a second, and whatever they had in hand over USA won. So she is about half a second slower, 51.11. And what did Alana produce? Alana produced...
She came down almost a second slower than her...
A 50.48. So she was 7/10 of a second nearly slower than Alana Myers-Taylor.
Look at these eyes. Last time we saw her, She was upside down in the exit of the labyrinth in a spectacular crash on Friday.
Well, Agnieszka Sergieva is rarely seen without a smile, and her new brakewoman this season, Anastasia Kochetsova, likewise. They always seem to be just really enjoying life.
Look at the tape here.
That tape on her right Achilles.
So she's limping.
This is the sled, I think, that was crashed. No, it's not.
Used the first day. It was used the first day.
No, it's not. I think this is...
No, it's got number 17 on it.
I think it's Kazinov's old sled.
No, Kazanov didn't use this on Saturday. He didn't use it on Sunday.
He used her sled.
On Saturday, but not on Sunday. They changed sleds back.
Did they? Okay.
Because that's number 17, which is her World Cup ranking number from last year, which is the way they rank them. Now let's see if she can get through here. Green number still. Come on. Oh yeah, she's gonna get through here nice this time. Yeah, beautiful. Congratulations to her. She needed to do that.
She was chasing a medal, and she was just hanging it out. And sometimes you win, and very occasionally it just goes wrong. And
so this got to make her feel.
Crash.
Imagine what she feels like right now. She got through there. Look at Trechikov. Hey,
keeps them in the lead.
Yeah. So
keeps them in the lead.
Russians are smiling. Hey. I pounded on the booth next door to the Russian commentators. Are pounding back. You know, they got something to smile about. They've had a tough 48 hours. Congratulations to her. Crashing, coming back, and maintaining the lead for the Russians.
Can't say enough about these two women. They really, really live and breathe this sport, and it's so good to see them recovering, bouncing back from really crushing.
What a way for her to leave this venue.
Yeah.
She left the venue at Pyeongchang with those thoughts of the crash. Now she's got something positive.
Absolutely. Well, they have the lead then with with the final team remaining. International Team 3, our surprise leaders, courtesy of Alexander Gassner. So now International Team 3 with Maria Constantin and Andreea Grecu of Romania.
You see that Sinaia sticker, 1967. Sinaia the old track in Romania.
They have 900ths of a second in hand over the Russians.
Going to be a challenge here.
Yes, it is. And as they sit down, they're 700ths of a second behind, so they are not going to hold the lead. Unless Maria has found something very, very special for this final drive of the women's bobsleigh leg of our team competition. 1800s back now. If she can limit the damage and they're within 3/10 at the bottom of the track,
111.6 is good.
They might still have a good chance.
And I'm not talking about a taking lead, just maintaining position, not losing any more time back. Because the Americans are only 2,800s behind the Russians. They're right on the bubble.
Keeping them in second place. They are still in
right
second place.
For second.
Russia 1 will be our leaders, and the international team are still in second place.
By a 100th of a second.
What a good drive by Maria Constantin. Boy!
That's all you want to do, maintain. You don't want to throw it to the way. Just maintain, just hang in there. Who do they got? They got Fernstatter.
Yeah, she'll be a very strong leg in the women's skeleton, and then Richard Olsner is going to have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, this international.
Listen, Alexander Gassner just broke the skeleton track record, 50.01. Maria Constantin came down 51.01.
Good lines here. Well, she's a good driver. Drives four-man.
Well, she had the 10th fastest start in this group of women's sleds and the 8th fastest at the bottom, so she outdrove her start, and that's what you need to do. You've got to do what you can do in your leg. So there's Gassner in the black jacket, there's Maria. Good job, you guys. Good job. Second.
Yeah.
Now, that I would not have expected. So the Russians still have the lead, courtesy of Trechikov, Sergieva, and Kochetsova halfway through our team competition. Here is how they stand. Russia, the international 3, and then USA 1. Germany, 4th and 5th. Russia 2 have slipped from 3rd down to 6th position, but if they find a 1/3 of a second, they're back in it.
Mark, the shuffling of the cards will continue in the 3rd heat, which is women's skeleton. There's a couple world champions coming up, World Cup leaders coming up. So it's going to get very interesting here in the 3rd run of our team competition. you know, the Russians are the leaders. And, you know, they got something they finally have something to be positive about.
Redemption, big redemption for Nadezhda Sergeva.
I've never seen a more negative Russian weekend in the 15 years that the Russians have been competitive.
Yeah.
So
since they were the USSR,
they really no,
not
they
had as
they
bad a
weren't
weekend.
that good in '99 or 2000, but now this was something for them to be positive about.
Oh yes.
And plus, for what she went through with the crash.
But you see, look at the smile. That's back. That's the feel good.
They say she was just emotionally distraught after her crash in the first heat.
She was in the stairwell of the media center, sobbing her heart out.
She was fourth here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So now we got a couple minutes to adjust our computers.
She flagged there as well with Maria Oliver in the center of your screen.
Look at the crowd here.
Yeah.
I mean, they were out here earlier, huge crowds on a spectacular Bavarian day, and now their crowd's back. A little Sunday afternoon.
They saw Francesco Frugic took his fourth straight two-man world championship title at the senior level. He's not competing. He's sitting up in the VIP hospitality with the Max Huben Trophy and his family, with his teammates Torsten Margis and their girlfriends and families.
When I interviewed those guys, I gave them a 38-minute movie on Eugenio Monti. So it'll be interesting. They're going to watch it tomorrow. He doesn't even know Monty. We brought him in for the headshot. He barely knows who Monty. I showed him a picture of Monty. He doesn't know the history.
Well, it'd be like Fangio, being like a name from the dim and distant past that he would never have seen on TV, who probably died before he was born.
No. Monty died in 2004, so 10 years ago.
That's true enough. So now we reset the field with our International 1 and 2 teams going off first and second. International 3 going off 11th, and Russia 1 will go 12th place. So we've had the men's skeleton on the left, your Olympic champion Alexander Tresikov. We've had the women's bobsleigh, Nadezhda Sergeva there with the kisses, and her new break woman this season, Anastasia Kotchatseva.
Uh-oh. You think there's a message? Hi, Drake, call me on my cell phone.
Listen, you know, keep it on Tinder. Hi, Drake. There you go. That was Brittany Reinbold and Brianna Jones. Brianna. Can you flirt with Drake on live television? I don't know. I guess you can. That may be a thing.
Look at the views here, Martin. It's just... You know, if you're watching the live streaming, if you ever want to target a bobsled event, don't be afraid to come here. And St. Moritz, that's pretty nice. Russians, give them a hand. Look at the Olympic gold medalist on the left. Sergeva in the middle. Well, I'm so happy for her after the crash. And then for her to come down and maintain, keep the Russians in the lead, great stuff.
Yep. There's our commentary positions, right above the finish area, right above this boisterous crowd. We can see that Russian fan with his green hat right below us and the flag.
He's got flags, I think, for every Russian athlete.
Yeah. So Elena Nikitina, Maria Oliver representing the top there. He's got lots of dogs in this fight, including the lead team. So here is our start list then. Again, the same 12 teams, and we go in reverse order, so the leaders, as ever, go last.
Maria Marilena Masimu für International 1, also sie wird den dritten von 4 Durchgängen eröffnen. Jetzt also die Skeleton Frauen für jedes Team und dann die
athletes warming up at the top of the track for the two-man leg as our skeleton competitors get ready to go. And for the International 3 team, International 1 rather, this is Maria Mazilou of Romania. So International 1 is the 3/4 Romanian team. Dorin Velicu started in the men's skeleton. Nice line through the first corner from Maria. Again, she hasn't competed in a World Cup race this season. She's been at the junior level. Oh, a little skid off S4.
Haven't seen her all year.
Saw the two of them wandering up the track earlier today. All smiles. Oh, way up high.
Never seen anybody hit the roof there.
Oh, well, there was no speed left for the final pressure to push her back up. She got so high in that second pressure so late. Goodness me, that'll be one that she needs to keep to show the grandchildren. Big old second pressure. I think that caught her a little bit by surprise. That's what happens when you only have one practice trip instead of 3 full days. Our Romanian two-man bobsledder won the rookie trophy earlier on. 18 years old, 4th in the Youth Olympic Games last year. There is Maria Marzilou. So she kicks off the leg for international team 1.
Well, this
first press is okay, but the second one,
to steer up there like that, you know. Plus, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody hit the roof like that.
Yeah. So there's Torin Velikou, Maria Marzilou, and we will see them in action next weekend in the men and women's skeleton competition. Our second international team, International Team 2. This is Savannah Graybill from the USA. Their advantage over International 1 is 0.6 of a second. So Savannah should add to that.
We saw Savannah in the World Cups in Whistler and Lake Placid. Then second half of the tour, Katie Eulander came out, but then when you go by the World Cup ranking system, Savannah did really good back on the North America's Cup. She outranked Katie Eulander, so she got the 3rd spot on the World Championship team.
Yeah, Katie headed back to North America after the race in Innsbruck in Austria. Still not 100%. She had a liver biopsy earlier in the season, which really hampered her preparation. Oh, and a big hit from Savannah Graybill, very sideways.
Going to take a lot of that 83, is going to go down to 50 probably.
And on one training day, that's not a surprise, she didn't negotiate the Kreisel exit the way she wanted.
Not bad though.
98, she keeps the lead and extends it to 1.1 seconds. Now then, does that put the USA in front of them under pressure? Katie Humphries sitting on the wall there down at the finish.
She was 10th and 15th in the first 2 World Cups in Whistler and on her home track in Lake Placid. But boy, that hit out of Kreisel.
Yeah, she might want to compare bruises with Barrett Martineau.
Well, the thing about the Kreisel, what you're seeing now is what you're going to see next week.
Yep.
Kreisel, and then here. Look at her. She was off her sled.
Not for nothing, it's half our opening reel with incidents from this labyrinth. What was your time? I don't know, it's gone off the screen now, sorry. Dang. Everything changes so fast in this discipline. Next up is our next US slider. So Kendall Wessenberg for USA Team 2. They lie in 10th position.
Kendall broke the ice for getting on the podium in St. Moritz, where she won a silver medal on that historic natural ice track. Obviously, she shows that you give her 1,700 meters, she knows how to fly. This track, though, is only 1,300 meters.
Nathan Crumpton kicked off the race for this team. Jamie Grubel-Poser, Sherelle Garrett had the women's bobsleigh leg.
She only had a 10th in Winterberg. Everything else was double digits, and then the second St. Moritz. And as she enters this event, she's 12th in World Cup points.
This is her second year on the World Cup, Kendall.
Oh! Boy, that's what you're going to see in skeleton. Not a lot of perfect lines. Team box, the international, checking it out. It looks like the USA 2 coming down is going to maintain the lead by half a second.
So Nathan Crumpton in the leader's box.
Grubel-Poser.
Yeah, they've cleared off. So Kendall Wessenberg rolls into the station at the finish line. And the USA have the lead. There's Zach Lund, the coach of US Luge team.
Okay, check out the lines. A couple American sliders here.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's no exact precision to get through that track. It's different for everybody.
I think Nathan would argue with that. He likes a bit of precision. So after USA 1, we now get to Canada's Mimi Reneva. Well, Mimi's performances this year put us in mind of her teammate Elizabeth Archie 2 seasons ago, who came out and took podiums and wins almost at will in the women's skeleton competition.
It was a 400s difference between the two teams. Now it's 8:22 because of the start. Let me give you how Mimi's done this year. 5th in Whistler, 3rd in Lake Placid, 18th in Altenburg, 1st in Winterberg, 4th in St. Moritz, 14th in Königssee, 5th in Eagles. Wow.
She's had some season, hasn't she?
Yeah. I mean, she's one of the best starters in the field. She's on pace right now to take the 400s lead.
She holds a slew of track records at the start. Oh, again, that late pressure in the Kreisel. 4/10 up. How much of that will it have cost her?
Of course, this is going to be a big eye-opener for a lot of people taking these runs. Going, boy, I have to do this all week at the exit of Kreisel.
There's her teammates, the Canadians. Kaylee Humphries on the right, Melissa Lawrence on the left, Barrett Martineau in the centre. They have the lead. 52:02, that's a good run. Cost her some time with that hit, but a 52:02, not bad at all. There's her teammate Elizabeth Archie with the times.
Mimi, well, we expect a lot out of Mimi this week. Look how high she is in the exit of the Kreisel and goes into the labyrinths, recovers pretty good. This looked a lot worse when she was in the Kreisel. Lost a lot of time there, though.
You need to go down that labyrinth like water from a garden hose, right down the middle of the V. That ain't easy to do. Not easier to say.
Now the Canadian.
Yep, Jane Channel, one of the fastest starters on tour.
They got a 4500s lead on the Canadian teammates down below, so.
Japanese mother, Irish-born Canadian father from North Vancouver.
This 4500s lead probably going to extend. I don't know, Mimi and her are pretty good.
Just checking for brooms, nothing in the way it seems, so she's good to go, 491.
200's better than Mimi Ravello, who just came down, but Jane, who was 4th to the World Championships in 2015, has had an average season. Her best finish of the year, well, it was in Eagles last week, 2 weeks ago, 6th.
Yep. Kind of sophomore slump a little bit. Delayed, 3rd year on tour.
Not bad.
Yeah, working hard to get the line she wanted though. You could see the feet working in the Kreisel and below.
4700s is now down, probably going to be in the 30s.
Well, her teammates above, Alicia Rissling.
Could be in the teens.
Dave Christian.
900s. Boy, she lost some time at the bottom. So, you know, the Canadians are 1st and 2nd. Of course, there's a bunch more teams to come, but, you know, the Canadians just had 2 good female sliders come down.
Yes, they did. So a 52:38, 2nd fastest in the run. Yeah, 91 start.
Look at this very educated sliding crowd looking on over the finish area. When our next athlete is a very accomplished one.
Yeah, Janine Flock got into the sport because Manfred Meyer, the Austrian bobsled coach, lives down the street from Janine's family. And when they were looking for new young athletes, at that stage you couldn't drive a bobsled till you were 18, but you could do skeleton from when you were 12. He went down the road to his neighbor and said, hey, your daughter, bring her up to the track. Yeah, that's how they recruited all these young athletes.
Well, she's 3rd in World Cup points, including a 7th place here a couple weeks ago. She also won the event in Lake Placid earlier in the year. And she's a European champion on this track a couple years ago.
And look at the form that she always produces. One thing you have to have in Innsbruck is perfect aerodynamic form.
Boy, how did she get that far down? She was 200s ahead at the start.
She was 1800s behind.
Then 2900s behind.
Yeah.
And look at the up and down here. This is not good. But she gets out of there nicely. But boy, way back. This tells you how good were the Canadians.
Yeah. Canadians are very strong indeed.
13 speed is...
There's her Austrian teammates. They are going to lose the lead.
But she's drawing back a little bit, though.
The Canadians.
Wow, she took the lead.
Oh, what?
How do you figure that?
I didn't know there was an Austrian time
Shortcut.
rule. Yeah.
There was an Austrian shortcut. I mean, Austria's not far from here, but how does she do that?
Okay, well, we wrote her off. She came from 29 3500s back to 600s in front.
Well, Janine,
Well,
all the way down the
cricket.
track, it's, you know, your 200s, then your 1800s, then your 2900s. And look at the lines here.
That's Jane Channel's head in front. Janine Flock using more ice.
Not
But
much
the
more,
exit,
but
yeah, she
Janine,
gets up at the third exit on the labyrinth. Janine,
wow.
you're a dark horse. And then here is our Olympic bronze medalist. Haven't seen an awful lot of that form from Elena Nikitina, winner of just one World Cup race in her career.
Watch this start. They're 40 hundredths ahead. She's going to gain 4 or 5 hundredths here at the start, probably. This is one of the better starters in the field. Ooh, she's out of the grooves. Look at that.
Yeah,
20
86.
hundredths better start. 486. The best.
91 was Jane Channel's start. That's the second best. So that gives her a 3/4 of a second advantage.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're only halfway through the field, though. And this Russian team was in 4th. They dropped down to 6th.
Well, the Russian women bobsledders we thought would be the weak link. They were not here. Ooh, watch out. That's a little high there. This is going to be, she's going to sneak through there. She's got, almost a second lead. Wow. Of course, Tregobov was the leadoff for them. Rodonova did pretty good. And now we're seeing Nikitina just burn the track up.
Wow, 52.03.
That's the best time of the heat, so the Russians are smiling.
Yep.
We're pounding them
They're
along.
banging on the bathroom ceiling.
And Match TV, the Russian TV's banging back at us. And, you know, they had a bad week, trust me. I've never seen things would happen to them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Russian athletes, they got to have something to smile about, and they're getting it today, right now. Good lines, but way up in the frost, way down, way back up. I thought she was going to hit the wall, but she snuck out of there pretty good.
Had all the hallmarks of being a really wild ride.
Okay, let's be happy.
Yeah. So next up, we get the first of our German athletes, and this is the reigning world champion, Tina Hermann.
Top 5 teams coming up right now.
Yeah.
And she's got a little bit of an advantage here, not much.
Well, she won't have a start advantage, just the opposite, but that's not where she makes her money.
Good lines, 4th best start. That's about average. She's 900s back. Going to be like 1500s back in the next clock, and then after the S's, she'll start to fly.
Well, she started 5:06, 4:86 for Nikitina, so that's where those 2/10 went away.
Those 1600s, like I predicted. Now watch, probably the best speed in the Kreisel. There, 109.7, that's great speed, and now we're probably going to see this 1600s get into the single digits. There's the single digits, and now we're going to see green numbers at the next clock. There's the green numbers. Now the question is probably 2,500s ahead. This is the world champion from 2015 in Winterberg. Yep. At the 2,500s. 5,000.
Wow. Holy cow.
Where were the afterburners on that?
Look at them. Stephanie Simons just shaking her head going, where did that come from?
Wow. The fastest heat of women's skeleton. At least we did we expect that?
Hermann.
Yes.
Well,
Tina.
she is one of the reigning team champions. Axel Jung, Tina Hermann, Anja Schneider-Heinze and Franziska Bertels, Johannes Lochner and Tino Pasch won in Eagles.
She was second here a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Second in World Cup points. And guess what? Is this another German?
Yep.
Oh, is this the girl that won the event
This
here?
is Jacqueline Lurling. Yeah.
She won here a couple weeks ago, the favorite to win the World Championship. She's got a 600s advantage. She's going to lose the start. She's going to be behind by 1,500s in the red at the first clock. And then watch what this girl does.
She missed out on a medal in Innsbruck last year. The team that she was in finished in 4th.
Okay, so this is probably not the greatest clock to watch. 1,500s. Oh, she only lost 800s at the start. That's pretty good. 14. Yeah, she only lost 800s to Hermann. That's pretty good. Now,
and there are two changes in the team that won gold last year. Axel Junk still in the men's skeleton. Anja Schneider-Heinz and Franziska Bertels is now Mariana Jamanka and Franziska Bertels. Tina Hermann is now Jacqueline Lerling, and Johannes Lochner and Tino Pasch become. Well, Johannes Lochner is still in the sled, so he'll go last.
2300s. This is going to be out to 35 or 4000s. This is a world championship preview. Martin, what were you talking about, betting?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. Go put the bets down right here. Look at
Germany and a track record for Jacqueline Lerling.
So we saw a track record in men's skeleton, right? Was it men's? We saw growth here. For Gassner.
Gassner, 50-01, yeah, and a 51-23 for Jacqueline Lerling.
I think the Germans are ready for this event. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess they might have known it was coming.
Wow, we got 3 more sleds to go. It's pretty close. Well, she doesn't have the great start, but she's very tall, a bigger athlete like our Olympic gold medalist Lizzie Yarnold, and her idol is Marion Thies, who won the World Championship gold medal here in 2011 and had a lot of similar attributes.
So next up, Annie O'Shea to try and keep the USA in a medal spot halfway through this team competition. The advantage 1700ths over the Germans.
She's got 2700ths here. She's got Holcomb as their anchor. So she just wants to get to the bottom and be within 2000ths of the Germans here.
If she can stay in front of the track record setting Jacqueline Lerling, then that will
be
an
awesome if she can stay ahead. But the way Lerling she had 109.9 something. And Annie's got a little history in the exit of this curve.
Oh, and again, she adds to that history.
She's gone from -20 to +30. It's going to be plus. She's going to finish 1 second behind Jacqueline Lerling.
Yeah, there are her teammates at the top. Lolo Jones, Myers Taylor, Matt Antoine.
How could she lose 1 second?
Wow. She's barely going to have enough speed to get to the finish area.
What did Jacqueline Lerling have?
51.23.
1.6 seconds.
1.45 seconds behind.
That's unbelievable.
And they had 1700s in hand.
So much for the American hopes, because there's only one discipline left there.
Yikes.
Yikes is right.
Well, there's Lerling's line, and look at the way that Annie O'Shea is down and then up so much later. Then the third pressure's going to get her,
away too. That's
and
a time
that's
display.
why she then has to haul it off the corner and slams into that inside wall.
Well, she lost so much time going in. She was 2000ths ahead at the Kreisel.
Hey, good job.
Drilled the wall there. They slipped down into 4th place with 2 to go. So this is our international team 3. Alexander Gassner set a track record to take the lead. Maria Constantine and Angia Greco more than upheld their leg. What about Anna Fernstedt, the youngster from Berchtesgaden? She went to the Christopher Schuler just down the road. She knows this place like the back of her hand.
The Germans went 1, 2, 3 here 3 weeks ago, and she was number 3.
That's all she needs to do. She just needs to hang on in there. 5:28 start. She's the youngest of the trio, the least experienced of the trio, but this is her home track. It's a long rub on the wall, but no other taps down the straight.
Look at the 110.8. She's 2 kilometers better than Annie O'Shea, who just came down.
She's within half a mile an hour of the fastest speed, but still the gap's gone out to 2800s.
Still, this is going to leave her in the top 3.
Going to lose maybe 3 spots at the moment. The leaders below, the international team at the top, Alexander Gassner grimacing. Where are they going to finish in 3rd? They've still got a medal shot. They have still got a medal shot. Wow.
Still good run.
Richard Olsner and Mark Rademacher, the junior world champion Richard Olsner. Oh boy, is there going to be some pressure on him for his run. The anchor leg is always the pressure leg. Well, there's Anna Fernstedt. Huge smile as ever.
She's got her head up there, but
Yeah.
good form. Nice, as good a form as anybody we've seen down there. She was clean. That's how to do it.
She is. Well, she doesn't manage to hang on to the lead, but they're in third place with only one team to go. They are medal contenders. Alexander Chechikov started this off. Nadezhda Sergeyeva and Anastasia Kochetsova found some redemption. Can Maria Orlova, also a one-time World Cup winner, can she keep them in the lead?
Well, she's got 6,300s in the bank. Well, we just saw Annie O'Shea lose by 1.5 seconds.
What
so anything's
Chechikov
possible
backed
here.
is really solid gold for them. It's what they now are trying to nurse all the way to the line. He gave them the torch. They've got to carry it to the line.
She's going to lose some more time. If she's 30 hundredths here in the exit, she'll have a chance. No speed, though. She's 2 kilometers down to the...
Still 58 up, 1300s. They're going to lose the lead. It'll be Germany 1.
Might be the international
Maybe
team.
Germany 2 at the line. Germany 1, the current leaders.
Wow, she's losing it all too.
Going to be second, but not by much. She might slip down to third. They're fourth. They're behind the international team. And by some margin, they're 2,800 out of the medals.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's close.
Oh
900.
my goodness.
The half second, 5,100s, 7,900s. There's still a lot of action left in this race.
She hasn't got the smile we so often see from her.
8th best of the 12.
Yeah.
And her teammates were second in the other 2 disciplines. Is that right? Sergeyeva was, no, was that? Yeah, Sergeyeva is the 2nd best women's bobsled time. Is that right? Look there.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Wow,
Second
what a
fastest
comeback
start, second
for her.
fastest downtime.
Look at that, huh?
Exactly right.
That's
John's found another element of our timing screen with which to tantalize me that I hadn't spotted before. Germany 1, Germany 2, international rescue in third. Then the Russians and USA 1. Last year, the gold medal went to Germany, the silver to Russia, the bronze to Austria. So Christina Hengster and Benny Meyer both got bronze medals out of that, as well as Matthias Guggenberger and Janine Flock. But Austria in 7th, they're not going to take a medal here, nor are the Canadians, the US 2, or International Rescue 1 and 2. But International Team 3, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Actually, last year in the World Championships, there was a Team GB as well.
Well, if you look at this run here, she was, you know, this was a little bit of a World Championship preview here from
Jacqueline Lurling.
Yeah, you know, she's tall, she's heavy, she's a little bit like Lizzie Yarnold, and she doesn't get great starts. And much like her idol, who won here in 2011, Marion Thies, she has this track dialed in.
She's got real potential. Just bumped into Anja Huber, didn't we, in the break between the 2-man competition and the women's, and this team competition rather. Said, you're going to be here all week? No, she's off to Winterberg, more training. She's coaching the juniors. Then she's coming back for the men's skeleton and the 4-man finale next weekend. She lives just down the road, in fact, a few 100 yards from where our hotel is in Bischofswiesen. So she'll be returning home again next weekend, but a week's worth of ice time in Winterberg with her junior team. I said, how are you enjoying coaching? She said, you know, you end up saying the same thing every day, but you see the progress, and that makes it all worthwhile. It's great the Germans managed to keep that kind of talent in their coaching, that kind of relevant recent talent.
How's the weather? Let's talk about the weather. How's the scenery?
Has been
How's the scenery?
beautiful.
How many sleds have we called down here this weekend already?
Glad to
Did you have some number?
Glad to see that BMW have laid on fabulous weather for tomorrow as well for our trip up the mountains. Looking forward to that. The title sponsors of the World Cup and the World Championships. Yeah, I did have a little list of how many sleds we've called down already, but
let's figure it out. We had women 22 and 20,
22, 21,
that's 43
and 20, and then yeah, 43 and 41. So that was 83 sleds in
84,
the women.
so let's keep track of it. 84. And then we had for bobsled, we had 36,
36
36,
times
36.
3, that's 90,
108
plus 20, 128.
And then, so now we've had 12, 24, 36 so far.
So this will be 48.
6, 12, 18, 16, 6, 44, 248 sleds. How about that? 248 sleds down. How you guys doing in the truck down there?
And if Sangiver hadn't crashed, it would have been around 250.
50. Yeah, she robbed us of 2 more sleds.
Yeah. She ruined our...
How you guys doing in the truck down there? You guys okay? Or?
Alexander Gassner, look, he's having a good time, isn't he? And Tina Herman.
Bogo, Giacomo, you guys okay? Got a couple more sleds left in you today?
Yeah, they were ready on the glue line, I'm sure. Had a nice little ceremony. There's Brittany Reinbott with oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
We're doing the shirt swaps already.
This is what the team event does.
But this is what this sport is like anyway. They laugh and joke.
That's
and
why
train
I'm a little
and travel.
disappointed at Great Britain not putting a team in here. Could just have the athletes have some fun.
Yeah, me too.
And give them another sled track down the mountain.
Nice little ceremony earlier. Last year we had a send-off, didn't we, here?
There they go.
For a couple of the athletes, and today it was for Max Arndt and his longtime brakeman Martin Putzer, both of whom returned at the end.
Putzer's longtime brakeman with Andre Lange too.
Yeah.
I think he's got gold medals with Lange.
He's a local boy here and spent a lot of time. He won.
I saw Axel Mann. I saw Axel Mann here with his little
Alex
child.
Mann's here. I haven't
He's
seen
here,
him.
beautiful little, less than a year-old baby.
Well, that's
His name is Maximilian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
he named
Max
his kid Max.
Mann.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we've seen Carl Unger here. I saw his daughters. It's so nice to see some of these guys come back. And then, you know, I go way back. Wolfgang Zimmer. We've seen Eric Scher, Eckhard Fasser. There's 4 gold medals
Rudy
right there.
So we go into our 4th run then in reverse order of the current standings. So the international teams 1 and 2 go 1st and 2nd. And then when we get down towards the end, Russia versus international team 3 versus Germany for the medals. I'm going to have to go back now to the 2015 Worlds to find out what the results were in that, because I don't have them handy either.
Well, the first team down international, Grigori and Krakow, these guys have been paired up for years from Romania.
And interesting that they put their 18-year-old youngster into the 2-man competition rather than Doran Grigori. He'll race in the 4-man, I'm sure.
I think they only had 1 slot available to them.
Yeah. Florian Krasuin was on the back of the sled.
Here's our rapid 5:13. We'll see how the fastest time down in this team is at 51:42, posted by the women's bobsled, which would have been Brittany Reinbott of the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know which Jones that was. There's 3 of them. Brianna Jones. Sorry.
You don't need to know. Drake does.
So this is the first of the sleds.
Great combination of fun and experience in this team. Mostly Romanian with the US in there as well. So he will have the lead for international team 1 at the end of the run.
50:44. Well, that's the fastest time down, as expected, men's bobsled.
Now the winners in Winterberg 2 years ago, Germany 1st and 2nd, Russia 3rd. Germany, again, Axel Junk was in that lineup, as he was last year. So Axel Junk on a hat-trick of World Championship team gold medals. Kathleen Martini, Lisette Turner. Hey, Lisette, know you're watching.
These are very good lines right here.
Tina Herman also won gold there in the team competition with Francesco Friedrich and Martin Grotkopf, who are up in the hospitality enjoying their long lunch. Well, here next is Ivo de Bruyne, Christine de Bruyne, his wife. So this might be a first. Have we had a husband and wife combination before? I don't believe we have in a team competition. Christine de Bruyne for Canada, Ivo de Bruyne for the Netherlands.
See, it doesn't read out on our screen the 4th sled, but
yeah, and this is not your own peak. This is Janka Franjic, His brakeman, first time we've seen him in the two-man in competition. He must have done a training run or two.
A little drift there. They've got a second to work with. They should extend this out. Evo drove well. Start times. 5:04, pretty good start.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Best start in the two-man competition was a 77. That guy Friedrich and his brakeman Marcus now won 4 straight world championships. They tied their own start record.
Yeah, I was talking to Justin Cripps and Jesse Lumsden. Say, did they tie the start? I said, yeah, they did. Nice.
Speed, excellent. Evo, a lot of press generated in Holland this week, but Evo de Bruin have a big push competition tryout on Monday. If he could only get a start time, attract some money, and then even after they attract the money and the sponsors, they still have to produce probably top 10 results before the Dutch Olympic Committee will let them into the
top
Olympic
8, isn't
Games.
it? I seem to remember from years gone by.
The Dutch have these strict Olympic qualification procedures. They got a little emphasis on that speed skating
Yeah, I
sport.
think they were always set up for speed skating, and I don't think they should necessarily apply to everything
there's no more
else.
canals to skate on in Holland anymore. It's too warm. But good lines here for Evo. Ooh, the back. Look at the back right runner. He's airborne for 20 feet. Oh.
So let's just catch up. Winners 2 years ago, Axel Jung and Tina Hermann, are both in, and winners last year were both in the winning team. So they're both on a hat-trick if they should win. They're not in the same team, though, so that's going to make life interesting. Away goes the US sled. 486 getaway. That's a very good start.
Justin Olsen, that's an awesome start. He's got 7/10s, but Justin's nemesis is the exit of these Disney corners coming up right here.
He's got Lou Morea behind him.
Lou getting his chance at a World Cup performance. That's not too bad. It's better than what he did in the first run. If he didn't have that first run in the competition, he would have had a top 10 finish. Finished 11. He's pulled away here as expected. He had the 4th best run of the second heat, I think.
Yeah, he had a really good run.
Smoking run.
Yeah.
So second. Full second for Justin Olsen. Lewis on out there.
Well, Lou originally from Portugal, migrated to Boston, a former bodybuilder, and spent 27 months in combat in Afghanistan, 6 years as a US paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne.
Look at the size of the guns on him.
How did he ever get into a plane doorway? Never get out of one.
Pretty good lines here, Justin. He struggled with that 4S's. If he, down here, this is not too bad. It's not great, but it's not as bad as struggling out of the exit of the S immediately.
There's Justin Olsen on the left, Lou Morea on the right. Texas State bodybuilding champion and Mr. Texas 2014. Justin Cripps, the silver medalist in the two-man world championship. Jesse Lumsden there yelling in from the back. He's got Ben Coquell behind him for this team competition.
I think Cripps would take runs until the season's over. He loves this place so much.
Right now, he's not feeling any pain, is he?
The international man of mystery just shocked everybody. It's a mystery where his results have been all year, and then in the World Championships he pulls off a stunner.
Well, all year they've been great at the start, and the speeders just dropped off the sled all the way down the track. And this weekend it didn't.
Yeah, well, they got the runner stolen last weekend too, so figure that out. There's either a big conspiracy going on here, and they're feeding us a bag of horse juice, but there's something going on.
These guys, this whole Canadian team have been suffering far too much this year for it just to be smoke and mirrors. 4900's up.
He's doing what he's been doing all week long in this track. He loves the place.
There's his teammates. They're going to move in front of USA 2. These guys are going to be some way from the medals. 4700's up.
Well, Canadians, they still have a chance. Barrett Martineau did crush the wall on the exit of Kreisel. I would think the Canadians would be challenging for a medal. We got another Canadian team coming up here pretty quick, too.
Yep.
Hauser, every run's great for Justin Cripps.
Right now,
He might try to do pilot, he might passenger rides later.
well, here's Chris Spring, the only one of the Canadians that didn't post a top 10 finish in the two-man competition. He'll be a little disappointed, and you can see how fired up he is to try and turn that around.
Yeah, look at his right knee.
Yeah,
He's got the
Cam Stone's late replacement in behind him. It was due to be Nick Polonyato and Neville Wright. I think they're having a well-deserved rest. Chris Spring and Cam Stones step in for Canada 2.
right knee brace.
Spring would still be running with one leg.
Yeah. So they got 1,200 lead. You know, Cripps. Well, the sprinter would like nothing better than beat his teammate Justin Cripps at the bottom, just to leave there with something positive, because this is a good example of the race within a race, and this is as good a feather through there as anybody. Speed, excellent. 1,300's lead. Let's see what he does next clock. Still got 1,300s in the bank. Kelstein, C-curve. Now into the finish. Straightaway uphill, only down to 11. Oh,
Look at Riesling in the top. Go on, come on, come on, Springer, come on, come on!
Does it! Springer!
They have the lead over their teammates, and that's bragging rights for the evening at the very
That's
least.
what this team event does. This gave Sarageva from Russia a chance to redeem herself.
Yeah.
The Springer just comes down here, post second best time of the heat.
Yeah, absolutely right.
This was pretty as good as it gets. A little bit of back end skid right there as he gets into the Jenna curve, but it's so tough to feather yourself through there. I think we've seen one guy get through there with just a minor one hit.
So here we go, we're into the Austrians. Matthias Guggenberger kicked off the competition for Austria 1. Christina Hengster and Jennifer Onosanya. Then Janine Flock. Now it's Benny Meyer and Marcus Sammer. Austria claimed a bronze medal in the team competition last year at home in Eagles.
This guy, without it, he had a 28th finish in the second heat.
Yeah.
And he ended up finishing 11th. And then I think he had the 4th best time of the final run.
Yeah, he had a smoking final run.
And he won a bronze medal on this track 3 weeks ago. So, you know, one bad heat. This isn't tennis. You can't throw one of those heats away. If he did, he would have finished in the top 5. Look at these lines. He got through there without hitting.
Oh, skinny!
But no, he didn't hit.
Skidded sideways into Jena.
But maybe they had to steer too much to get through there like that. From 13 to 14.
Was 1,500s up, the biggest margin. 1,400s, 120.9. Not bad speed at all. 1,100s.
Could be the leaders.
Look at his teammates in the top box, the leaders at the bottom. And by 800s, the Austrians cling on.
Only the 6th best time. I'm surprised at that. You know, he feathered himself through that straightaway. They show us that straightaway again. No one gets through there, but maybe he had to steer too much to get through there. I don't know, but didn't have the speed. It was looked perfect, but didn't have the speed. Here it is. Now watch. Does he touch? How many sleds? 248 sleds? Nobody's come down through there without hit. But that might not be the fast line, because he didn't hit the 6th best time.
He had a haircut and trimmed his beard. Good grief. Next up, Matt Antoine, Alana Myers-Taylor, and Lolo Jones was in her sled. Then Annie O'Shea. And that's where it all kind of went wrong for the USA. Annie O'Shea had a bit of a loose run down through the lower labyrinth. So now for Steve Holcomb and Sam McGuffey, they need to try and get their team back on track.
It's a reach, but Holcomb smokes one down here, and teams in front of him falter. They could get out of here with a medal. Annie O'Shea had a 1.5 seconds minus in the woman's skeleton part with the X of the Chrysler. She had some issues. Holcomb, well, he does what he does. Doesn't get the great start, but Sam McGuffey, the former University of Michigan and Rice University football player.
That's coming down. It's only a tenth of a second onto the bend away. What's he going to have in hand? Out of the Kreisel, very good speed. Second or third fastest.
There it goes.
Right, starting to open up the margin.
But watch what he does. This is the afterburners that Holcomb has in the uphill section of the track. No one else can do what he does. 12 to 22, probably to 30 here at the end.
Good run from Stephen Holcomb.
49.55.
Alana Miles-Davis off to go. Grab him.
No one could. I mean, he's a magician on this track. Look at him. I mean,
that's Alana's fist coming in there. That's where she was going. There's Nick Cunningham at the back.
Holky.
Yeah. Holcomb and Sam McGuffey. Now that puts the cat among the pigeons.
Okay, now look at
Benny Myers line with the red helmets.
Look at
Holcomb, the
gaining.
overlay. But
That's
look at
how far
him
he's
gain.
behind.
Look at him gain. And that's what that skid into the Jenner curve did for Benny Myers.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, and Holcomb's off on the marathon high-fiving again.
Listen, they love this guy in Bavaria.
Careful, Holky, because there'll be a sled there in a minute. Alexander Kasyanov and Alexei Pushkarev. Now, these guys need some redemption as well. Barely scraped into the top 20 in the World Championship.
There's no way he can lose a half second. In fact,
there's no way he'd barely make the cut in the World Championship. He was leading the season at the halfway stage.
Well, let's see at the next. Look at these lines.
He's holding his lead 41 hundredths of a second.
He might lose 10 more hundredths, but he's going to be the leader here at the bottom unless he crashes. Speed way better than Holcomb.
1:14, that's almost exactly the same as the BMW sled, which then
here he goes, he's pulling away. Kasyanov, what happened to you the first day? What happened?
Holcomb's watching the lines, Annie O'Shea's interrupting him, but Holcomb's looking, he's looking, he knows that he's got what it takes.
This is what you know, so I think that's going to be a medal. I really do.
Might be. There are still 4 teams to come.
Stolnev comes next. I don't know what the difference is between the two Russian sleds.
Well, Stolnev finished in front of Kasyanov in the World Championships. Only in the teens, I'll give you that, but he was in front of Kasyanov.
Well, Kasyanov, like Holcomb, speed merchant on the bottom. I don't know what he did the first day of the competition here, because he was lost in space.
He was in a borrowed sled that had been crashed, wasn't he? So
yeah. Another Russian.
Yep. This is our second Russian team.
This is going to be for a medal. One of these Russians is going to sneak in, I think, and beat the international team.
Tretyakov, Rodionova, Oliver, and Kasyanov were the bronze medalists 2 years ago in Winterberg. Tretyakov, Rodionova, Nikitina, and Kasyanov were the silver medalists last year in Eagles. So this is Tretyakov's team. Oliver's in it again.
Well, he's got 20 hundredths lead. That'll probably go down to maybe 14 or 15, but Stolnev fourth to this event a couple weeks ago.
Interestingly, the Russians have mixed up their teams, so the medal-winning combinations from the last 2 seasons are not intact. They've swapped the skeleton and bobsled athletes around between them.
Yeah, and here comes Stolnev. This, what happened to him? He finished like 15th, 114.4. Awesome speed.
71.1, fastest of all.
Yeah, this is.
And how many sleds have we seen down this track today, and it's still holding up?
247 now, 257. This is perfect. 22, going to be up to 25. This, I think it's a medal. 49.60, third best time down the track. Zubkov has got something to smile about.
So Stolnev has the lead for Russia, but still 3 more teams. Russia first and second with 3 teams to come. The Russians are breathing a lot of sighs of relief.
This is what they needed. The team event was exactly what the Russian team. Here's 2 Russian sleds going through here. Look at the difference between Stolnev and Kasyanov. Wow, what a consistent line compared to the up and down line.
Yeah, Stolnev really up and down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 to go. An international team and 2 German teams, and wow. This is real pressure now for double junior world champion Richard Olsner. He's got Mark Rademacher behind him, who didn't go in the 2-man competition, so he's the alternate.
He's within reach of this medal, 2800s. He should be able to do this.
Well, he has to hold on to it. They are in the bronze medal position.
Yeah,
he has to hold on to it. All right, he's 3/10 up. This is basically him versus Stulnev to carry their team across the line.
International team has never won a medal before in the World Championships.
3,600s up.
Yeah, there's no way he can get rid of 3,500 too.
Oh,
especially being a German.
Well, he had some wild lines down that bend away. That's the best trip in 5 that we've seen from him. 4, beg your pardon, down the straight.
24. He's going to barely win, but he's going to win. And I think there's a Romanian on his team.
Yeah,
right?
this is going to put Maria Constantin and Andrea Greco there on the left into the medals with Anna Bernstadt and Alexander Gasper. Broke the track record to start the competition, and they are in the medals. An international team will take a medal here.
Good for the Romanians.
Yes. And good too for Richard Olsner, who is a little underwhelming, I thought, in the 4-man competition. In the 2-man rather, but he will get a World Championship medal out of this race. And Alexander Gassner there in the yellow jacket.
Yeah, he broke the track
Boy,
record.
didn't he though. And if they're only in that position by 1300s, that 1300s is some of his lead that they still hold. Oh, look at that. Oh, big smiles from Richard Olsner there and from his girlfriend. So 2 to go. Germany going to take gold out of this, but which German team? 2 years ago in Winterberg, Germany went 1-2. They could go 1-2 here again. Christopher Groothair 2 years ago was on the silver medal winning team. He is in the team. He started off the leg for this Germany 2 team this time. Oh, and that's real trouble. Real trouble for Germany 2. Nico Walter and Philipp Verbeto.
Wow, he's going to have to drive himself into a perfect line down here to overcome that.
Luckily, it's only a couple of hundreds back.
5, but you know,
come on, Nico, rescue your first weekend with a medal.
Speed, Nico. 114.4. He'll come back. He'll get that deficit back here.
Good speed, fastest of all.
That's it. Nice recovery.
Nice run.
Cost him the gold though.
Through the labyrinth. Well, they were a little shy of the leaders. There's the international team at the bottom. Nico Walter is going to put Germany 2 into the leaders' box.
Right, look at that. With that mistake.
A quarter of a second in hand.
So there's the first German medal. The international team's got half Germans on it. Nico, what happened? He's just warming up for the 4-man. But Nico, you got at least a medal here. Silver, maybe a gold, Nico. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. It all depends on one man. And that one man is coming up next.
Let's see. Look at the grooves. Let's see if they run too far. Or does he get his foot caught on the D-ring?
Yeah, takes him a while to get in, and as he bumps in, then the sled comes out of the grooves. It wasn't his brakeman, Philipp Verbeto. It was when Nico got in late. Well, a slew of yellow jackets there. Germany 2 lead, Germany 1 looking for gold. They were led off by Axel Jung, who has led off the winning team in the last 2 seasons.
I hate to say this, but this is a victory lap for this kid.
Tina Hermann was on the team both the last 2 years, and Johannes Lochner's brakeman does not get in smoothly.
Well, 488, that's as good a start as he got in the competitions. He was getting 490s, 489s.
That's Christian Rasp on the back. He got hurt when they crashed earlier on in the season, quite badly ice burned.
Look at the lines.
6,600s up.
Victory lap.
Yeah. So it is going to be a 3rd straight Team World Championship gold medal for Axel Jung. Last year, he was leading off the team. Anja Schneider-Heinze, Franziska Bertels, Tina Hermann, and then Johannes Lochner and Tino Pasch.
This is a local Berchtesgaden boy who lives right down the street with his parents.
Yep.
Bang.
And he takes them through to victory. So there is your winning team. Axel Junk, Mariama Yamanka, Franziska Bertels, Jacqueline Lurling, and then the final leg
at the World Championships
for Johannes Lochner and Christian Rasp. So Germany 1 victorious, Germany 2 take the silver. And there's your bronze medalist from earlier on today, Johannes Lochner. Bronze in the two-man, gold in the team competition.
Well, great start. Remember, this guy's running about 85% with that sickness, that congestion he's had in his chest. Hasn't been able to train. Hasn't affected his driving. He just doesn't get the start times. He won this event 3 weeks ago, the World Cup that was here. You know, he's all warmed up, ready to go in the four-man, and he's won a few four-man races this season too.
Yes, he has. He might be our strong favorite in the four-man World Championships. Local boy, local track, had a good head of steam behind him, and a win in the team competition for the boy from Berchtesgaden. Francesco Friedrich and Joshua Bloom claim their fourth straight two-man world title, but Johannes Lochner claims his second straight team gold medal. Axel Junk, his third. Franziska Bertels was on the silver medal team 2 years ago. She won last year as well, and this time she's behind Mariama Yamanka. So there are your winners, and well, mingling in there the second and probably the third place team as well, because international team 3, which was predominantly German, with the addition of Maria Constantin and Andrea Grecu from Romania in the women's bobsled leg, they have found themselves in the bronze medal position, much of the glory for which may well have to go to our new track record holder in men's skeleton, Alexander Gassner. Well, whatever he thought that this year might have brought him, surprised if he thought he might be in the gold medal position, courtesy of a men's skeleton race, but team bronze medal is certainly at a new track record. Well, there are your winners. Somewhere in there on the left are your runners-up. You can see Stephanie Schneider there on the left and Lisa-Marie Buchwitz. Axel Junk started the competition with a good strong run. Mariama Yamanka and Franziska Bertels kept Germany 1 in the hunt. Jacqueline Lurling, a really strong run from her. Fastest in the women's skeleton, put them back at the top of the pile, and Johannes Lochner and Christian Rasp kept them there to claim the gold medal. 3 in a row then in a team competition for Axel Junk, and you're starting to look at all his teammates lining up to join him for next time out in 2017. There's Axel Junk, third straight World Championship team gold for him. Jacqueline Lurling on the left, Mariama Yamanka on the right. Stephanie Schneider, Christopher Groothair coming into shot as well. And that ends our team competition for the 2017 BMW IBSF World Bobsleigh and Skeleton Championships. Don't forget that that is only the first week of action. We're back training Monday morning as we head into skeleton and four-man week. Two-man has been done. Women's has been done. Now we've got another week of competition to come. We'll see you there. Bye for now.
gehabt. Danke, dass ihr alle gekommen seid. Und es wird natürlich nächste Woche hier weiter nach unserer Siegerehrung der Teams mit den Skeleton und mit den Viererfahrern.
Vielleicht mal kurz sportliche Einschätzung von der ganzen Leute.